Alright, hello and welcome in second devlog of my roguelike type game. Still no title, but hey, we have dungeons now. So let's call it, I don't know, Rogue Dungeon. Yeah, very creative. So yes, we have dungeons now. So it's time for player and enemies and combat and AI and loot and inventory and story and graphics and menu and sounds and music and story and AI. Okay. But player and enemy today, okay? And interactions between them. Let's start from player movement. Easy. What else do player need? Weapon. So let's make custom item resource and then melee resource which extends from it. Then just make a new area 2D for it and make a logic when touching the player. And boom! It disappears when you touch it. Easy. But an item cannot just disappear. Inventory time. I mean something inventory-ish. A simple control node with texture button will be enough for now. Now, with texture button, it's matter of just few lines to make equip and unequip code. Look at this. We can actually pick up and equip weapons. Just look at this boy. Attack time. First, let's add some stats, totally not ripped from the Binding of Isaac, and let's make them updating when player equip weapon. And in the last devlog I said it will be a mix of the Binding of Isaac and Pixel Dungeon. First one in terms of combat, and second one in terms of exploring and inventory management. But then Brotato became free on Epic Store and I changed my mind. Nah, I'm joking. It's not like I'm changing my mind whenever I see something cool. I just did some mental playtesting and I noticed that Isaac type of combat doesn't make any sense. Why? Because if I want to just copy it, then player would need to constantly move his hand between arrow keys and mouse. You know, between arrow keys while aiming and fighting, and mouse when clicking something on inventory. That would be annoying. So first change, you will aim by mouse, not arrow keys. It's causing another issue. If you aim by mouse and shoot projectiles like in Isaac, the game would be just too easy unless I want to make another Vampire Survivors clone. So that's when Brotato comes in, with its melee weapon attack animation. Something for something, the player gains better aim but loses range. Of course there will be range weapons, but they would work more like in, I don't know, even Minecraft. So let's make some animations. First issue, I cannot have variables in animation player that changes dynamically. Or at least I don't know how to do that. Okay, let's Google it. Apparently you can make animations via code, but most questions and code is from Godot 3, where you didn't have to use animation library or something. What even is animation library? Okay, so I still don't know, but I did something. And it still doesn't work. Why? Actually, I don't know. I didn't explain it in my notes. What was I thinking? Of course I would not remember such things. Okay, twins. Just use twins. And vector tool rotated. Have no idea what this function does, but it works in my case. Well, our boy can punch now. Now, enemies. So, as usual, let's add some custom resource, character ability 2D, and most importantly, let them get beaten up by the player. Because priorities. So, standard take damage function, protect him from getting too much beating at once, you know. Because on body and turret signal sucks when our weapon is already at the same position as enemy, so instead we will just keep looking for overlapping bodies, and after first detection deal damage to the enemy and push him into the array of protection. By the way, by making this I discovered twin callback function. Great stuff. Now I want to try something new. I don't know if it's a common practice or the greatest sin in programming, but who cares. I just don't want to make thousands of different enemies, so I will do something I call components. Let's just create some classes like movement component and attack component, etc. Then make few versions of them for different behaviors and attach them to the enemy resource to make different enemies. So far so good. Okay, so let's add some pathfinding to give enemies chance to win. I mean, our boy is invisible now, but let's just give them some illusion of chance. Luckily, I already used Astral Grid 2D to make corridors between dungeon rooms, so let's just copy the code and we will be done. Okay, maybe let's adjust it a little. That's better. It looks like an easy fix, but I totally forgot to add move and slide function, and of course was completely shocked why enemies can go through walls, for longer than I want to admit. Yeah. Okay, so let's give the enemies possibility to deal damage. By colliding for now. I use similar code as in weapon damage dealing. And let's not forget to add to the player invisibility time after every hit. To add some range attack, first I need to have different move component for follow and run behavior. I would say it is easy, but of course I had some stupid problems with simple vector math. I will never learn that properly. And for range attacks, just make enemies to spawn a projectile when in range. Just to make this guy less dumb, let's add a Raycast to him. We don't want him to shoot at the walls, am I right? After all of this, my code is officially a mess. Too many ifs in process function, so my components are not enough for sure. I need to add a state machine to it as a normal person would do. But that's a problem for the next devlog. That's it for now. Next time, state machines, better inventory and loot. Sub, like and all that stuff. Peace!